What's up, everybody? Let me just get set up here. We're going to look at Quail Hollow today. First time seeing, brand new course. Still getting set up here on my tablet. I want to make sure that I can see you guys as you guys pop in. All right, I can see that. There's the chat. I got everything set up here, so we're looking good. I have not seen this course yet. I just wanted to at least pop in, see what we're looking. Okay, par 3 start. I was going to try to do mostly kingmakers today and just kind of walk through. Not try to qualify. I was just going to kind of just mess around a little bit. I'm kind of like in a spot where I don't know what everybody wants. I feel like they like that I'm back. And they want to see some content, but we're kind of like at it. I'm trying to get a better feel of what to do, what my content should be like. Obviously it's going to stay fairly casual. It's not going to be, anything it ever was, but I want to make sure that, I can make the most people happy. For instance, I've been in Ragnarok. Shout out to those guys if you guys weren't aware. Right now I'm in Carolina Chill. As you can see, we're making a C100 push anyway. So as you can see, what they did is, if you guys haven't seen, huge shout out to them. They wanted to remove the weakest link, me, and go for a Masters push. And as you can see, they are at the top there. So they're smashing it for this season. It looks like, no reason they shouldn't win up 200 some thousand points. So shout out to them for doing a great job. But what I was saying before was just basically, they do shots a certain way. They use a lot of people's guides and just kind of follow them. And then I just kind of follow their videos. So it's like, do more people want to see that? Or do more people want to see me do my own thing? That's one of the things. Yeah, Jason, I'll try to do another tour 12. I've personally been working through some more 12 myself. Recently, because I've just done 11 for a while. So I'll try to do another updated tour 12 for you. Not going to be today, but we will get to it. So maybe next week, maybe 2 weeks. Not sure what the schedule will look like, but I'll try to get something out there. I'm hoping that the courses don't change. So let's just see. Make sure that they don't change this weekend, because we're going to have new season come up. And I will be back at Ragnarok as well next season. This was just kind of like a one-time thing with Carolina Chill, but we've had some fun. We've done a push for C100. It's going to be their first time there. So yep, thanks, Marvin. Appreciate that. Definitely, I've tried to pass along as much wisdom and information as I can. This game specifically, it's remained very similar. So, and I've noticed kind of a shift. More people are switching to guides. They're using these other resources. So what I've tried to do is kind of embrace some of it, because it's like, what's more important for tournaments? It seems to me that guides are more important than concepts. Concepts aren't going to win you tournaments. They're going to win you tour matches. So, when my clanmates, when they post tournament content, using other people's guides, obviously, you know, I'm going to be full on support of the clan and just try to do the best that I can for the clan. But also, you know, put my own spin on it when I have to, because certain times, you know, there's been several holes where I just kind of have my own vision and I'm just like, this is what I want to do. I don't want to, you know, do something else. Like, you know, there's been cases when that happens too. But thanks for showing up, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. One thing I did just want to briefly touch on before we get started with Quail Hollow, I did want to just jump back here. Ultimate Golf. In the description, I put some stuff in the description for you guys, but I just wanted to kind of talk about this app because they've really been doing some really great things. One of the things that they're doing right now is if you go up to the promo code. I didn't have the banner there, but if you go to promo code, tonight, Cleveland-Pittsburgh matchup, right? So who's team Pittsburgh, who's team Cleveland? I think, you know, I'm going for probably Cleveland. But if you enter in the promo code, you're going to see a special tournament being unlocked. These guys are doing really creative things. So just for picking who's going to win tonight's game, for instance, and go into the promo code. If you go in here, you'll see, you know, a variety of different stuff. There's a scramble that just opens up down here on the special. So you guys, you know, I can just pop right in here just so we can see what it looks like. Because like I said, you know, they're doing really cool things over here. You guys I feel like I see your guys' comments. I see what you guys are asking for all the time. And it's like there's actually a developer out there that's actually doing, you know, new creative things. They're not, you know, just sticking to the fixed schedule, you know, week in, week out. They're doing some really creative things. And another thing I just wanted to kind of just show you guys real quick is, you know, their balls, for example, are really, really great. So you can see 15 wind. That was 15. If I put this ball on, it goes to 3. So 15 to 3 wind. That's a substantial drop down. So it makes it a lot easier to play this game, just being able to do that. They've adopted this pin concept. So there's a pin concept over here. You basically collect these as you go. There's power if you want. So think about what Golf Clash does. They do a fixed ball. So think about, you know, today's ball. It has extra top spin, +5 extra top spin. They give these guys. They're giving you the freedom to add whatever you want to the ball. So it's independent. You don't have to buy today's deal to prosper. You can add putt stats. You can add, so if I want, so you can see where I'm at right here in the fairway. If I want extra power, I just go on and I just put on a power. So here's an example. Boost power of golf clubs by 25. I want more power. The line goes from up here. It goes all the way up to here. It jumps. You get 25 extra stat points. Similarly, we can do the same thing with the wind. So here's golf ball wind. Boost an extra 8%. I can equip this. 3 goes down to 1.8. So we started at 15 wind. It goes all the way down to 1.8. I mean, they can't make it more easy for players to interact and, you know, be able to really just kind of customize what they want out of a hole. And as you can see, they're stackable. So there's 3 total that you can put in. So, you know, there's a variety of different options here with what you can add. For instance, there's another thing would be like a putt zone. So let's say, for example, here's a good example. This would be like precision boost, but for putts. So you can see it just boosts the zone by 6%. It makes putting 6% easier, is essentially those great balls. They don't lip out on you, that type of thing. There's also a swing zone equivalent. So boost swing zone, this is like precision. So it would be like adding like a precision 2 directly to this hole if you wanted to do. Just wanted to show you that because, you know, like I mentioned, they're doing some really cool things over here, and it's definitely worth checking out. And if you want to do that, in the description, there is a promo code. It's the ZAC22. I've already pitched it to you guys a bunch of times. But if you are starting a brand new account over there and want to get started, it gives you free cash. It gives you free balls. It gives you free clubs just for starting over there. So some really cool stuff that they're doing over there. And just wanted to at least pass along the information to you guys, just so you have it. If you guys are wanting some advice going over there as well, reach out to me directly, and you know I can pass along, get you guys pointed in the right direction. Similarly, you know they've given me a little bit of, you know, freedom to kind of encourage players to kind of play. So, you know, for example, if, you know, a whole group of guys wanted to start their own clan over there, like I could essentially talk to them about setting up a special package as well. You know, that would be just kind of like a special ball designed just for that clan, that type of thing. So, like I mentioned, the bounds that they're doing to do cool things is pretty limitless at this point. It's just going to continue to get better. But let's jump in here and we will look at this tournament here. We're going to get started with Quail Hollow. I have no idea what to bring, so we're just going to jump in here and we'll work through the 9 holes and just kind of see how it goes. Let me just real quick get my grid set up. So these are not the grids that I want. These are the Ultimate Golf grids. We're going to turn those off. And of course, this is my guide for Ultimate Golf grid that we created for, you know, that's the other thing. The Ring app that I have over there, we wanted to create a space that's super easy for guys to learn the game. It's free to download, free to use, draw your own grids, and you can see the freedom to, you know, turn stuff on, turn stuff off, create elements. It's super simple. But let's get started here. Let me see if I get called up here. Ultimate shot. Yep, that'd be cool. Let's see. This looks interesting. It's like they put, so it's stuff like this that kind of takes away from golf a little bit, in my opinion, because it's like, okay, you've taken away direct line to the hole. Like, this is a super weird hole that just to have the pin so tucked. And it's weird because this is their first real course, right? So you're creating a real course and it doesn't have a lot of real elements because you're already on hole 1 shifting around the tree. But let's see what we can do here. I'm assuming I might need to go cat. Maybe not. I don't know. Oh, I didn't even bring my notebook. Let's switch back to cat. I really don't want to open notebook at this point, but I will. I'm thinking plus 15 or something just to get in the ballpark. Of course, I didn't change my bag. Jeez. 10-9, almost wind rings. Let's see if that gets to the hole. I have no idea. A little bit of curl, similar to what my opponent did. Now, I'm worried a little bit that this is going to short hop on me, so maybe just a little bit of extra power, just a touch. Pretty good overall. We gave, you know, for first look, that's pretty good. It really just needed to come in just a little bit slower, a little bit more backspin, and it would have cut harder. So we really didn't have to do anything different than what we did other than more backspin. I was actually thinking the ball guide was going to collapse more than it does. And of course you could see it didn't. I am just going to get started off here with a par. So let's just, so like I mentioned, we're just going to kind of have some fun today. I'm not trying to qualify. I'll try to do something a little bit more competitive tomorrow because this is first look at this hole. I don't know what to expect. So we're just going to kind of look at this course and qualify tomorrow, that type of thing. Plus, I also want to see, you know, let's look at Kingmakers. These are like the most common tour balls. Well, maybe not anymore. But they're the most like common basic. So let's see what these basic common shots look like for this course. It just seems like a good idea. So that's what we're going to do here. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's see if we can draw opponent here and keep going. If we get a really nice wind, we'll just go for the shot. This is not... I could see some interesting things happen on this hole, though, come maybe second round. If they point something towards the hole here, this could be pitch range. This could be a really exciting hole. One thing that I do see is this tree down here. The more you try to land towards it, the more you might run into it after bounce one. So I'm thinking more towards aggressive, towards the green. You might have to watch that tree out there on that corner for tailwinds. For this one, I'm assuming it won't be too bad. So 11-1 there. This is, oh, they don't have the marks on this course though. So you can't see if he's going to be short iron or not. It's going to be straight in the face though. On a tight pin. You can see that a little bit lengthier drive is more beneficial. I'm going to try to get semi-aggressive here. Max plus 10, kind of 11 rings with some curl. Let's just see what that looks like. Trying to get it, if possible, to get the nice rollout, a little bit long. The more that you get towards that bunker, the more that you kind of open up that angle for your second shot. So I think that's a good strategy. And let's just see what this does look like. I haven't seen, there it is. So there's min club. We will be a little bit close to min. It's not going to be right on it or anything, but also keep in mind, pulling up towards mid, pulling up, like we're still going to need to over adjust a little bit. This almost seems like the elevation's down as well. It'd be interesting to see if he tried to zoom in or if this is max zoom in, because this might be an extremely down shot if that's as maxed as he can get with his... It doesn't look very downhill, so I think he was just keeping it zoomed out there. I am going to go for a bump. I'm very... I think it's very unusual that my opponent there didn't try to bump that. Probably going to use close to a max number because we're pulling up towards max. I don't think elevation is at play here. Ball got a little bit through the hole. Nice setup here. At least 12 one rings, I feel. That seems like it landed a little short, so it needed a little bit more adjustment, but that's weird because it wound up to the left. I didn't expect that to wind up left. Maybe a pull angle issue. Should have stayed a little bit in, just a touch. But you can see it definitely landed a little bit short. So even this, like the max, it seems like a max number, a little bit extra, max plus +5 adjustment there. If we were kind of staying true. Maybe just kind of shift the pull angle a little bit. Of course, I made the birdie. Didn't need to. As we're like I mentioned, we're just kind of working through these. I'm not trying to qualify. Let's see. I did try to log in earlier, but obviously it wasn't early enough because you can see still not enough guys done to know even close what to do. So what I recommend, I guess, would be just playing it safe. Let's jump in here. Tailwind, nice situation here to do a couple different things. We can either go long, we can lay up. Let's just see what it looks like. I'd imagine the new Topspin 5 ball looks pretty desirable here, other than the fact that it's 1 needle speed. And, you know, in comparison, that's another, you know, area that I was mentioning about what Ultimate Golf is doing. They're not manipulating the system nearly as much. So how you see a needle speed 1 on a ball like that, what they're doing with pins over there makes it easier for you to avoid that situation. There's a multi-stat for golf balls where you could get your golf ball to basically get like 5% extra on everything. So that's like a multi-stat over there that allows you to have, you know, better it's called overshoot on that game, but that's like full needle speed would be faster, stuff like that. So it does make it a lot easier to kind of customize the way that you play over there. I am not going to go for it. I just don't think you can get close enough. So what we're going to do, I'll just go max +10, right around 10 rings, push up somewhat close, perfect, maybe just a little bit of left curl. Let's see how this plays out. I'm assuming from there we're looking at something like B52 again with a tailwind. Might even be even at 474. This hole seems unusually long. I kind of have trouble believing that I just drove at 474. Is this hole 700 yards? I thought this was supposed to be a real course. That distance doesn't make a lot of sense. If I just drove at 474, I should be well within 250. My opponent's not. Like you can see, he's still going pretty much max everything here. $800 yards. Okay, is this really 800 yards though? That's the question. I literally want to go to the internet and check that out. Wow, so that is a serious hole. That's crazy. So if in the next round they don't give us a tailwind, like you're not getting there. I'm going to go wind rings here at least. Push back up. I'm a little worried on the overpower, so I'm going to try to stay off of it. A little bit of right curl just to kind of counter my line a little bit. Definitely should have overpowered it. I thought with the push up, we would probably get through there and it would be okay. Yeah, that's crazy. 800-yard hole. I've never even seen that on a real golf tournament. They've never ever played. I've never even seen on the PGA them play a 700-yard hole. I mean, maybe once. But we're talking extreme long hole. If we're talking 800 yards, I feel like it should be a par 6. So let's see what we can do here. I'll go for it since my opponent missed. Otherwise, maybe I'll just start forfeiting. But at least I know now for tomorrow, you can pretty much go max here. Max everything 2 straight times and you're good to go. Maybe even Titans. Let's see what this distance is. That is about 18%. Wait, is that right? Yeah. 18%. I'm a little slow to, should have had all this prepped. 1.5. I think I need to over pull slightly. Reason being a little bit of a drop on the land zone. Let's see if that goes in. I bet you it was my pull angle there. Because I think the adjustment was probably good. I would probably just kind of had to rush there. And that's probably why that missed. I think the 1.5 was probably a good number. I just didn't, because I wasn't prepared or anything. Just didn't have it fast enough to be very precise on that pull. So we're just going to forfeit. Try to keep our score down because I have no idea what's going to qualify. This looks like it could be short, maybe. We'll see. Oh, I got somebody live, right? I'm assuming even if you forfeit, you can get live people again, but I don't know that because I know they took it away for a while. But I swear I've played live people. Oh, wow, that is a very interesting tight fairway. This is probably the most realistic golf clash actual hole I've ever seen. This is literally what a golf course would look like. To where it would like narrow like that. This is not an easy shot though. By any stretch. I'm not going to get too aggressive here. Because I see I went about wind rings. I'll push up. And just let it fly. I can see this as being kind of a risky type drive where you need to be very careful. This second bounce, this is what I'm worried about. You can see it's getting close to that bunker. And you want to avoid going too long here because it could roll out and potentially go in the rough. But you have to avoid the curl unless you're going to use a power 5 ball. Because that second bounce is so close to that bunker. Thanks, Owen. Appreciate the Golf Clash update knowledge. That makes perfect sense as to why they took it away. I figured they did just because I was almost certain. I'm pretty sure this is a live person, and that's the reason that I thought that they brought it back. But for, I mean, I guess it was a couple years. You know, you could, as soon as you forfeited, you were just in a replay pool. Didn't want to bring this cat bag, but I think we can get away with it. Close to mid club on the adjustment. I usually stay pretty close to that number. I'm assuming this, it's going over a little bit of water. This could potentially need a little bit of a plus adjustment here. Ooh. I don't like all this. You can see it's not a very reliable. And of course, we're pulling down to lower ground. 8-1. I'm going to go beyond 8-1 because I think we're pulling over some water. And I'm going to, since I pulled down low, I'm going to kind of overpower intentionally, try to get that distance back. Great balled it anyway. Doesn't matter. Something about that isn't right, though, for sure. Because if I great balled right, I should have wound up right. So my adjustment there, overall, not that solid. It shouldn't have done any of that. So that basically means it was still landing low and to the left. So it definitely didn't need any extra pull in that scenario. And it probably needed a little inside pull angle or something similar. Something to the effect of trying to keep that a little bit more to the right. So let's see if he can get this one to drop. Coming in just a little bit to the left. I'm cool with either forfeit or birdie here. You know, it's kind of like a free chest. Or is that par? That's going to be par. So either par or bogey. I know I always appreciate a free chest, that's for sure. They make it too hard to get the chests. Like, the chests aren't really that great. So why are they so hard to get? I swear, like, when I play these tournaments on Master, the stock round is usually like 13, 14 under if I'm just in the replay pool. So they're shooting 13, 14. There's a chance if you don't make 2 or 3 shots, you might not get a single chest. I'm going to bring a quarterback bag again because I don't know what to expect. Using no resources for this. We're just kind of winging it, just kind of playing the short shots. See the way that it goes. So let's prepare things just in case. Because the last par 3 I was not very prepared. Could argue using like a lot of times if I was actually going for the round, I would probably, especially with the first look, I'd just burn up some practice token or 2 just to get the rough idea and then hope to go for it. But I'm not going to do that. because we're just practicing today anyway. So why not use today what it is, which is a free practice. I do think I'm going to go for the bump here, assuming that it's possible, which it feels like it is. I definitely feel like this is downhill in nature. Most par threes are anyway. For this game, I feel there's very few exceptions to when you're not using some kind of elevation on a par three in this game. Maybe 15 plus max, I'm thinking. Let's just try it. Gets us a starting point here. Because this is higher ground we're pushing to. I'm going to kind of keep the ball guide short intentionally. Let's just try 14 rings. It looks like a nice even number. It's a good way to kind of size things up. Is this too much? Is it not enough? You could at least reflect back easily and said I went exactly this much. And it's too much. Ring and a half less, I'm thinking. It's pretty true. It's almost zero. Plus 10, I think, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I feel like my starting point, plus 10, is only 0.6 rings. I don't think I was 0.6 rings for making that adjustment perfect. So it doesn't seem to make sense. Well, maybe if we're talking true distance. But I'd rather use the max number. It's just easier to just use max. So using the max number, I think it's pretty true to almost zero. Because I was probably off by about 2 rings. You could really size that up. If you were to look at my replay, how many rings was I from the rough on my initial setup? Because I probably missed the rough by 0.2. So you could just kind of add 0.2 to that number. And you'd be in the ballpark of what the land zone is. With using that very terrible shot, you would still be a very close estimate just by figuring out, okay, you know, I was 2 rings or I was 1.8 from the, whatever it was, from the rough edge. If you were to use that and just add like 0.2 to it, and then you could subtract that from 14, you could get, for the very next attempt, you would be very close, within a cup or two, if you were to go about that method. This looks like an exciting hole, so we're going to hit an exciting shot. I don't know what that's going to look like, but let's see. So we got water, we got tailwind. There has to be a way to go for this. And this might be a live person too. So let's see what they do. Oh man, that is disappointing. The wind angle that it showed on the thing is not this angle. Ugh, it's close to rolling through. So with this wind angle, this is not a favorable one. I wonder if it's still possible to maybe go for this. It feels like no, that's too much curl. Like there's nothing you can do to really increase your curl angle beyond a set limit on this game, and that isn't enough. We are going to have straight side wind on the approach. It almost seems like the longer the drive, the more that you're going over this bunker on the second approach. So why not just kind of keep it short intentionally? Seems like the idea. We go cat. We'll do 10 rings, somewhere like that. A little bit of curl. Let's see what this looks like. I feel like driving it where my opponent did. Well, here's the problem. I might be out of range because they're just at range. So you need to drive it a little bit longer than I did, but you need to hug the left side, is what I definitely feel. Keeping it as short as possible, it's going to give you the best angle to utilize that fairway as much as possible. And realistically, up here, I got my taps on, so where I'm pointing up here on this rough looks really desirable, but also high risk. You almost need a precision ball to be able to hit that spot, especially if we're talking cataclysm. So if you can go a little bit longer than my opponent, or power 5, extend that target, get a look at that rough bump up there. This could be something that you could get really aggressive with for sure. And alternatively, let's see what this angle. Whew, man. So you really do need to be up here just to have a clean look at this, which is almost impossible. There's almost no way you can drive it right here. It would be a very difficult, specific shot. But the one thing that I should have is a clear look to the green at least. I'm going to go about wind rings here. Maybe just a touch of curl. Great ball for sure, plus maybe just a little bit too much curl. So the short drive would require minimum a power 5 ball. It's really not even possible. You need to try to get more up towards, which I think is definitely doable with power 5. So luminary there. I think I could have got more aggressive with the drive and kind of hugged that left-hand side and then stayed within range. Might not have been too bad if I did that. Looks like I still got Sahara on from one of those challenges. We got spit 8. Let's keep rolling through, see what we got. Another par 4. I feel like none of these holes have been short, so I don't expect this one to be short either. I feel like on the picture, they all look short. So you're like, oh, can I get aggressive with this one? And you think every single time the answer is yes, and you're wrong every single time. So definitely looking like we're probably going into the replay pool here. Very tough to grab an opponent. This is massively long for sure. This is just as long as the last one, if not more. So looks can be deceiving. It's definitely tough to tell by the picture. I'm going to go about max plus 10. Just kind of wing it. Counter, back, curl. Just kind of counter my effect. And let's see what this looks like. I think the approach on this one is going to be very long. So I did keep the cat on. All of these holes are massively long. So this is going to be a very interesting, this is probably the longest course they've ever developed. I don't remember reading that in any of the description, but I wasn't following along too well. But it's interesting to see. I do like, here's the one thing that I do like. This to me is a lot less gimmicky than it's been in the past, which is like, you know, all this cartoon nature of this game. This is definitely way less. So this is, it has more of a real feel for sure. A lot of these holes look more realistic. So definitely appreciate the fact that they did that. And as you can see, we are still very close to max club here. Definitely going to require some kind of overpull. This feels like low ground. Gotta restore a little bit of that distance there. Early with my timing, totally my fault. And out to the right as a result. And it was very makeable with perfect ball too. That's the most annoying part. That was actually a pretty good adjustment, especially since I zoomed in a little bit too far. You could see that I was having a little bit problems with setting my precision. But one thing that I know for sure, I was pulling down low into a bunker. So you need to make sure that you don't allow that to make you short land too much. So I kind of comboed that a little bit, two different ways. I kept the ball guide through the hole a little bit. But on top of that, I tried to maintain at least that distance when I pulled down into the sand. If anything, keep it a little bit long on your pull, just to make it that much more likely not to come up short. I don't know where I'm specifically at. I'm just going to forfeit this one. I want to try to stay maybe over par just in case. Now people are starting to come in and play this one. They were waiting for me to go. That's what it is. They wanted to see what I was going to do. They were so intimidated. That's part of the problem with the forfeit. You have to wait up. That actually came up pretty quick. So we should be good to go at this point to kind of just finish this one out. We'll show up with this bag. I don't know if I can use it. I've been wrong on pretty much every hole so far with what it looks like lengthwise. I didn't even see fairway on this, so I have no clue. And of course, I get to go first. Thanks. Really appreciate that. Guardian, maybe? Max plus 20. I think Guardian might be the club here. I don't know what other people are doing. It seems like a backspin boost or something to the effect of. Even Hammerhead seems like a nice. I like Hammerhead. The only reason I use Sniper is just because nobody else is, or because nobody really can get Hammerhead as easily. So I end up defaulting, and everybody's producing guides as a result with those clubs. That's still short landed. So plus 20, not enough. That was kind of the gist of what I was doing. Should have known that that was probably going to come up short. So plus 25, plus 30. You can see I still landed on the fringe, or short of the fringe. I was trying to at least get to the fringe. Even Cat, it has more backspin. It's probably a better shot. But Guardian Hammerhead seems like a nice possibility on this one. Keep the range. Try to just gently backspin it in. Could be a nice way to go about getting this one. Another huge tailwind. It'd be nice to go for this one, but with everything we've seen so far, these holes are so long that it's really not that exciting. So that's I guess one of the downsides. I almost feel like when they created this, you know, especially for Master, you know, maybe keeping it up one less tee box. This Quail Hollow, they have to have enough space that, you know, you could have made a couple more of these holes a little bit more exciting, at least allow us to do some cool shots in kind of a mix. But it kind of seems like we're just kind of doing more generic, drive it out in the fairway. We're not going for anything. You know, even the pros, when we look at real courses, there's some short holes. They, in certain courses, they'll move the tee boxes up on like a Sunday round, just make it a little bit more exciting, that type of thing. There's really none of that on this, but I do like the fact that it actually plays out pretty real, except for hole number 1. It's like you have to go around that tree. That didn't make a lot of sense for a real course. I feel almost no way that hole, that there's a tee box that you have to go over a tree. Or just play out to the right of the green. This hole is just too long. Like even if I went win 0 here, you couldn't do it. It would have no advantage for you to do. So we'll get this out into the fairway, see what it looks like. I'd imagine, I mean, it just seems super long. Everything seems super long on this course. 460, and we still have what in? 250? I'm trying to think. Cataclysm is usually standard 200-ish. Or no, 180 plus the boost, 200. So this is still almost 700 yards, 675 or something. That's going to be pulled down into the water. It's going to require some sort of overpower or something, keeping the ball guide through the hole, some kind of tweak when you push down into that water there. So what we should see is this land short. So I'm assuming it wasn't that short. It was probably only a yard or two of where they actually set up. It's interesting to see that that happened. I'm out of range, so I still didn't drive it far enough. I'm going to try to do it this way, and I just don't have enough time to fix these adjustments on the fly. Of course, I just wasted 2 seconds with that. 10.6 probably isn't enough. 11.2, gotta push up. A little bit too much on the adjustment. The concept was there, but what I did was just a little bit off. I know I went extra. It probably almost didn't even need it. That's very weird, because it definitely seems like it doesn't really have elevation at all in that shot, which it seems kind of hard to believe. It was probably a level hole, but I just feel when you're towards max in this game, you always need a little bit of extra. But I'll just miss this one, just in case. Let's just see where we are. -2. We played through. We got kind of a feel for everything. Here you can see kind of where scores are. They're not really that great in this bracket. I'm assuming you guys are probably still shooting 15, 16 at least. Without too much issue. I don't see any real challenges or difficulties other than some of the length. They seem to be still very holeable. Just got to really hit your spots. And one of the things that I like is, you know, the realism of the course. It's pretty easy to keep it in the fairway as a result. It's pretty easy to get an idea of what to do. So it does give you a very realistic effect of, you know, very similar to what you would do in a, you know, on a real course, which is definitely cool for sure. Like I mentioned, we're going to try to qualify tomorrow, so I was just kind of messing around. I'll either kind of go alongside and kind of do what my clan's doing, or alternatively, you know, maybe I'll just kind of do it on my own terms. I'm kind of open either way. In fact, like the last one, I didn't even play. The last mini, I didn't even. I think I played around, but it wasn't serious. It was very casual. But like I mentioned, you know, I'll try to put some content together for you guys. Let me just, you know, briefly, let's just go in here. Do I have a chest open? Let me just open one real quick, just in case I win. And we'll just go in 12, just to kind of cap things off. Just real quick. Missing a couple trophies here. This is what I've been kind of working through a little bit. Just kind of casually playing these holes. It goes kind of, kind of like I see all of these. Tour 11, Tour 12, Tour 13. It kind of goes one of two different ways. Either, you get on hot streaks, or you can really, and this is a perfect example. So opponent pulls out 5-2-5. If he gets eagle, chances are, I lost, because I'm not trying to compete with like I'm going kingmaker. So if my kingmaker doesn't get me to the playoffs, oh well, it is what it is. So, perfect ball. It didn't even, keep it in the fairway. So I still have a chance here. We're just going to play this as a 4-shot hole. That's how I roll in tour. And it can go either way. Oh, we got that last one. That's pretty cool. I can get on a hot streak and do some good things, or alternatively, it can just go downhill real fast. This would be a perfect example. Say you got this hole 3 straight times, and you got guys who pull out these balls every single time. It's just like, man, you're in a bind. As you can see, if he keeps that in the fairway, he's going to be very close to the green with that second wind. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate you showing up. Just kind of hanging out for a little bit. I'm just going to bend this one around to the right. Try to not do anything too aggressive. Really just hoping for a falcon look, if I can get it. And who knows what the wind is. Because there's a chance, that I win this outright, which essentially flips the table on the opponent. That's a relatively easy wind. It's not as easy as it could have been. But I mean, this is a very makeable win. So you put yourself in a position, you use a 5-2-5 ball, and you definitely have to execute for sure at all times. You have to always be thinking about that strategy and really know your holes too. So the more that you kind of work through these, and I don't work through these very often. I'm not a tour grinder. I don't do a lot of that, but when I do play them, I definitely think I have enough conceptual knowledge to be competitive. And there's certain shootouts, I'll come to and might not even know what I'm doing. Just from not seeing that specific wind angle enough, for sure. But I definitely have the gist in most situations. I forgot I had claw on. This is another challenge. We can still make claw. Don't sleep on the claw. I'm starting to think the odds of this going in are less and less. At least 9 rings. With this wind angle. Of course, we have a lot of missing guide here, so you have to be a little bit cautious with that missing guide. Just beyond 9 here. Ah, just off the edge. So that's just one of those things that I was mentioning, you know, from the get-go here. So we come in 12 here. I've really flipped the table on this guy because I put myself in a position to win. Even with the claw, we were still, you know, I was that close to being able to just win this outright. And that's one of the things that I just can't stress enough is like, don't play without, you know, don't play outside of your means. Because this is a perfect example. It's like, well, you might feel obligated to go for a shot that you don't feel comfortable with, but if you just stick to your strengths, you never know. Like, because it was that close for me to flip the tables on this guy and just win this one outright. Now, I should know what to do on this, and I don't because I played a tournament here. I just don't know what to do, especially with that wind angle. That's probably the worst wind angle I could have saw. This is kind of where I say this is just like instant loss. Because I should know what to do here, but not with this wind angle. I played a tournament here, but never once saw an angle like this. Not too happy about it either. Just set this right at min and just hope. It's right around 10 rings or so. Oh, it's still long. Dang. It's because of the higher tee ground, more so than anything else. It was just being on higher ground. So you're pulling up higher ground, it lands long on you. There's no way 10 rings or 10 whatever I went, 10-6 wasn't enough in terms of actual pull. It's the fact that you're pulling up so much higher than you're landing. And I mean the wind angle for sure as well. And obviously, you know, I don't think I could have went this way because I think there's less rough here. So I knew that it was going to kind of land long. I needed to kind of, all I needed there was an underpull, probably top of circle, and it would have, I had a good chance, but not able to execute, unfortunately. It's probably one of the toughest, if not toughest, wind angles I could have actually saw on this hole. So it is what it is, but like I mentioned, I've been working through this, and I can definitely, let's just see what happens next week, see if these holes do shift, because it has been a while. I know they only usually last 2 or 3 seasons. It's been 2 or 3 seasons on these 4 courses. So let's just see what happens if they do shift up. But that's kind of what's on the table, probably coming up. I'll try to do a Tour 12. I know, you know, there's some guys in the chat and everything that can definitely use some Tour 12 guidance, especially so they don't lose all their coin stash. You know, that's always a very good thing to be mindful of. But thanks for showing up, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Best of luck with that Quail Hollow round. I don't know if I'll pop back on. I do have kind of a busy weekend ahead. Maybe on Saturday for a final. Maybe we'll do something. So if you guys are interested and want to tune in, I'm no promise, but maybe on Saturday for a final, we'll just come and you know, do 9 holes, because it's kind of I like these 9-holers more than the 18s. They're way less commitment. It can be very casual, and so I like that whole aspect of the 9-hole thing. So appreciate you guys being here. Best of luck with your guys' rounds, and I'll see you guys next time.